Welcome to the show. It's good to be back. I've been gone. I was traveling across the country. I was at this Rockin' Pod event in Nashville for rock music podcasters. And if you're listening to this episode, then obviously enjoy rock music and podcasts. So definitely something to consider for next year. And I have some thoughts on this event and my podcast, but I'll save those for the end of the show. So let's just get right to it and talk about our guest today. Diva Satanica. She's an amazing woman. She sings for two different bands. Bloodhunter is her first band, and she is still with them, but she also recently joined the band Nervosa. And these bands are heavy, and there aren't many women out there who can sing like she does. So I think she's an inspiration not only to women who want to sing like her, but also to anyone who wants to do something outside of the box and what is expected of them. It's kind of like Rudy from Notre Dame. Remember that dude? He was a tiny little guy, but through hard work and dedication, he joined the Notre Dame football team. So lots of cool stories like that I love. And I think Diva is just a really good person. She's great at what she does. And I really enjoyed this chat. I became more of a fan after chatting with her. And I think you will too. Check it out. Welcome, Diva Satanica, to the Chuck Shoot podcast. How you doing?
Fine. Thank you so much for having me. It's a big honor. So yeah, I'm excited.
Oh, really? It's an honor for you. Well, it's an honor to have you. Absolutely. I've done a lot of research and found out a lot about you. So before we obviously want to talk about the music, but before we get into the music, can we talk about where you're from? Because that fascinates me almost as much as the music. So it's, how do I say it? Is Galicia?
Yeah. I was born in the northwest of Spain. Here in Spain, we have 17 different regions. And one of them, it's very different from the others. Mm-hmm. We even speak different languages between each other. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I was born in a place that it was like the land of the Celtics. It's like land of magic, of witches.
Really?
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, you're going to have to tell me about that.
Ireland.
So is that stuff still going on, or is that what just like in the history you're saying?
Yeah, and popular culture, and stuff like that. People like the old people talking about this kind of secrets and occultism.
Really? So like if I go there, can I go to like a witch store or something and get like a ritual or something like that? Or is this something that's all like underground?
It's not like stores.
Okay.
It's not like stores. It's much more like small houses in the countryside where people just tell you about the traditions and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I was just in New Orleans. I don't know if you're familiar with that, in Louisiana, and that's like where voodoo is from. And I was just really fascinated I'm always fascinated by the culture of anywhere I go or any other place in the world. So I was really fascinated with the voodoo stuff. And so I was trying to find these voodoo shops and stuff. And there's just not a lot of it going on right now. I mean, they sell like the kitschy touristy stuff, but I wanted like the real legit like guy with, like the face painted and the bone in his head and stuff. Like I just wanted to see it. It's so fascinating to me. But so that, it's a different language where you're from. Galician, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you speak, because
you did an amazing research.
Yeah. Oh, we haven't even touched the surface. I just thought that was interesting because I just thought you were from Spain, but then I was like, wait, I think it says like Galicia, and it's like, is it islands?
No, not exactly, but we are kind of isolated because we live just in the corner of the country, and communications and if you want to travel there, it's kind of complicated sometimes. It takes a lot of time because the highways are kind of wrong, but it has a lot of interesting things on the other side, and it's a very beautiful place, lots of green and forests and beautiful sea.
But is it, so it's beaches, right? But I think you said it was kind of, I'm from Seattle originally. I don't know if you're familiar with that part of the United States, but it sounded very similar weather, like rainy, gray, windy, cold.
Same.
And so that's hard to grow up like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That, it's a big problem for if you want to go to the beach or something, but the most beautiful forests live because of the constant rain. So.
Yeah. So it's really green, but then not a lot of blue skies and sunshine.
No, absolutely not. It's a lot of fog and gray skies and rainy days. It's kind of sad. Something like that feeling, that vibe of the fado from Portugal. We absolutely agree with that.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't realize how many famous people are from that part of the part of the world. Like the Martin and Charlie Sheen are from there, or they're part Galician. Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead, Enrique and Julio Iglesias, and Fidel Castro. His parents are both from there too. I was like, wow, there's like a lot of famous people from. I didn't realize it was such a big area.
Oh, it's not so big, but there's a lot of talent, I think.
That's
people.
Yeah, and you, of course, too.
Oh well, I'm not the best example for sure, but
now are you in? Yeah, but you're in Madrid now. Is that correct?
Yeah, I live. Madrid is amazing. It's an amazing place if you want to do anything in relation to culture and going to visit amazing places, museums, and stuff like that. But it's very stressful. It's full of people going everywhere so fast that it's impossible to live like that. So I moved to the countryside, like 40 kilometers from the city center. Oh. And that's much better.
That sounds a lot better. So it's interesting. My friend, he's engaged to somebody from Ecuador. And she was saying, this is so interesting to me. I don't know if this is the same in Spain, but she said that like when she walks down the street, men whistle at her and hoot. And she came to America and she's like, they were in Las Vegas and walking through a casino. And she's like, oh, this is weird. No one's like hollering at me and whistling. Did they do the same thing in Spain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have many casinos, but we have something similar where you can bet and play some games in, it's weird, because they are like small stores where you can come in and everything is dark, like in a pub or something like that. And you can play there and bet and stuff like that. But the feeling in the streets is like, I don't know where to go, but everybody is running around you. And I'm kind of confused. I don't know what kind of public transport take, because there's a lot of chances to go there and there. And it's like crazy. This is like the jungle, really.
But is that true? So like when you're just like, if you're just walking down the street, like to the store or like to work or whatever, like there's men that will yell at you and whistle. Is that very common there?
Yes. In Spain, everybody yells stuff.
So how do you deal with that? What do you do? Do you just ignore the men, or do you wave back or tell them to screw off?
I mean, it depends on the day. Sometimes I just go fuck yourself. Or other times you just cross the street because you feel afraid. There's some dangerous places here, and you just have to go.
Okay.
Never stop.
All right. Well, okay. I should get into the music here. Enough of this culture stuff. It's fascinating to me, but I'm sure your fans are like, well, when is he going to talk about the music? This guy sucks. So let's talk about music. So you got into music because I found this interesting. I just heard this today that you actually got into it because your father worked with some of these musicians, not necessarily heavy metal, but you were exposed to these, it was like Spanish vocals and stuff at a young age. And you thought, oh, that's kind of cool, right? Like you saw these different styles of music and musicians working and thought, oh, I might want to do that one day, right?
Yeah, that was fascinating. It was like every single weekend during my childhood, I went with my parents to some kind of show in the middle of the countryside as well, with small bands, like I don't know, 6 or 7 people playing hits from the radio, formulas and stuff like that. So there were like a lot of songs that I've learned from the radio, and then you listen to them because they were like performing a new version of the hit itself. And it was like, wow, all that production, the lighting, all the outfits on stage, the movements, the choreographies, stuff like that. It was like, wow, that's very interesting. They can be performing a rock song and then go into flamenco, and it's okay. And yeah, that was like, wow, I love to do that someday. Like having that skill of jumping from one style to the other. That was amazing for me.
Yeah. So speaking of different styles, I thought it was interesting too that you first got into metal and rock. It was Bon Jovi, which is like probably going to shock a lot of fans, because like you listen to the stuff you're singing now and it doesn't sound like Bon Jovi, but you got into some of the hair metal, right?
All the lyrics. I know all the lyrics of Bon Jovi until the Have a Nice Day album, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good time to quit. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Wow.
But yes, I think I remember I was watching some TV show, like a talent show or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a girl performing Living on a Prayer. I've never heard that song before. And to me, it was like, wow, what's that? That's not a pop song. That's not flamenco. That's not blues. What is that? And I was like, I need to find more stuff like this. So I went to the record shop every single week just to buy any album of Bon Jovi. And when I was done, I started to research for another bands. Like I was pretty much into the hard rock albums of the 80s, and I was a big fan of Guns N' Roses, Honey Rocks, stuff like that.
Yeah, so didn't you just, because this was before the internet, or you said the internet connection wasn't good, so you kind of just had to go to the record store and like take it, you're like, well, these guys got long hair, well, I'll try this out, and you kind of just had to do it by trial and error, right?
Yeah, that was the vibe. It was like, okay, they look very similar to Bon Jovi and bands like that, so yeah, I'll take it.
And then you just started doing a deep dive and got more into the heavier stuff, right? Because then you got into the power metal, symphonic metal, Holy Moses, Behemoth, and all those kinds of things, right?
The key for me was grunge metal. I discovered Nirvana, Alice in Chains, bands like that. And to me, it was like, wow, this is pretty heavy. This is much more than singing very high. This is like a broken heart and a lot of rage and anger. And then I started to discover another bands more into the metalcore or thrash metal. And that was like my way of exploring different music genres. And I think it's very good to just find different stuff to learn about a little bit.
Yeah.
Everything.
No, it's good. So then you decided that you wanted to try and go ahead and sing it, right? And that's when you started to practice, and you're watching YouTube videos and things, and just because you said you couldn't find a teacher, right? So you kind of teach yourself.
I spent most part of my teenagehood trying to find somebody to tell me how to sing properly. I started with clean vocals, but it was a nightmare to my teachers.
Really? Is it so? It's easier to sing the growl and the hard voice than it is to sing clean.
Look, you don't have to find the right note to perform a growl or a scream. While when you're singing with clean vocals, everything can be wrong. So to me, it was very difficult at that time. And I thought that was the main reason to start trying growls, because I was a big fan of the extreme metal scene at that time. But to me, it was like, okay, this could be the way. This could be my place. And let's try. Because I tried to learn how to play guitar, and it was another disaster.
Oh, really? Did you try drums at all? Drums is like gotta be, to me, that's the hardest thing. I when I try to look at the drums and how many things are going on, I mean, it's so complicated.
No. I cannot even do two things at the same time. So to me, drums are not my instrument, for sure not.
Yeah. So then how did you get, I saw your appearance on the Spanish version of The Voice, La Voz. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
That was so cool, because you guys are doing Eye of the Tiger, and you just start growling, and one of the judges looks so horrified. He's just like, or she's just like this, like she did not see that coming.
Yeah, I was like the first person in participating with this growling style, this growling approach. And the TV show asked me if I could just start singing for the first audition with some clean vocals, because it was the first time in Spain in 5 editions it happened something like that. So it was like a shock for everybody, for all the audience. This is a very traditional country, and the metal scene, it's kind of stigmatized still nowadays. So I thought it would be a good idea, because you cannot just simply go there and and everybody would probably got scared. So I just try my best with some kind of phrases, and then I came to the growl side. And for the Eye of the Tiger, that was not one of my choices. We have like 10 songs. I love that song, but it's impossible to sing for me with clean vocals. So we have to do some kind of battle with other participants of the TV show. And Eye of the Tiger was the choice of my partner. So it was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. Of completely disaster, but it was fun, and I think it was a very nice choice. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, that was great. It must have given you good exposure, right?
Yeah, sure. Here, it's crazy. There are a lot of people watching those kind of TV shows, like millions, and there was no other way for me to just go in and reach another different audiences. So it was very good for me and for my band Bloodhunter. So we got a lot of offers from different festivals from the metal scene, and a lot of shows coming, a lot of new people interested in what we were doing at that time. So that was pretty good.
Yeah. So you were actually in Bloodhunter when you did that. You were kind of showcasing. So did your followers and stuff go up a lot from after that appearance?
Yeah, it was like there was a lot of people, like old women and stuff like that, asking me where I can find more of your music. Do you sing in a band or something? And I was like spamming everybody with names of my band, and they were like, I want to see you in a live show. Where are you going to play in the following months? And it was like, yeah, come in and have fun. It will be amazing. And yeah, there was a lot of people that had no idea of metal shows or about the extreme metal scene. And they were pretty interested in knowing much more about the scene. So that was very nice too.
That's good. Yeah, but didn't you say that with Bloodhunter, at least not with necessarily with Nervosa, but with Bloodhunter, you guys have never toured outside of Spain and Portugal?
Yeah. It's very difficult from the bands here in Spain to get some attention from promoters and record labels from other countries, because I think that we are not very professional, and that's a big mistake, because we have amazing bands here in Spain, but it's very difficult to them just trust us,
Yeah, I heard you talking about this. There's like some sort of there's a reputation for the musicians, they're being flaky or lazy. And you say sometimes that's true because people will have other priorities and they'll go on vacation and things.
Yeah. Sure.
So it's just
in any field.
Yeah. But you'd think that if you're really driven, a lot of those musicians want the dream so bad, they'll work their ass off. So there's got to be a lot of bands like that as well.
Yeah. If I start thinking about some names of this scene, we have amazing bands and very young people that have developed amazing skills playing instruments and writing music from many different music genres. It's not they are not all thrash metal bands or stuff like that. We have a lot of different styles and people doing amazing things, but it's very difficult for us just to jump to other scenes. You have to pay a lot of money and invest in your own project to do so. And here things are not very easy in terms of organizations and people that could help you with some money to do so, like managers or stuff like that. So it's very difficult for young people just to grab some money to invest in their projects, and then traveling, and then recording an album, and then release it, and filming a video clip. It's like a lot of money, and very young people doesn't have the chance of doing so. So then maybe when you grow old and you have the money, then you change your priorities. So
there's not,
ends like this.
But you guys got some help, right? You got a manager or somebody to help with Bloodhunter?
Yeah, we work with a Spanish agency called Duque Producciones, that they've been working with a lot of very big bands here in Spain and in Latin America, like Saratoga and bands like that. And that helped us a lot, because then promoters here in Spain start to taking us seriously and do some kind of better offers to us, just not to play on our own. When you're in a small band, you just try to figure out how to do it, and you just book some venue and try to play with another local band. But when you have the support of a management agency, things change a lot. And that was a big step for us. Okay.
Yeah, that's huge. So before you got to that point where you're on The Voice and you're getting, managers and things, did you ever have doubts that you couldn't sing metal? Maybe that's, for manly men, or did other people doubt you? There must've been people that said, you can't do that. Right. You pushed through that stuff though, right?
every day because I was blonde at that time.
Oh,
my
really?
hair was dying like white. Yeah, that was awful. But yeah, that was true.
But that wasn't your natural. That was dyed, you said.
No, it was dyed. Yeah,
Okay.
this is my natural hair color. Very Spanish.
Yes.
So I was very young, kind of thin and like, good looking and blonde, sweet. And so people thought that, come on, you cannot do this.
Yeah.
And when I was on stage, they changed their minds. They was like, okay, you can do it. You're not perfect, obviously, because you have to learn a lot, but that's a good start. So that was the only way, just to showing people that, yeah, I can demonstrate that I can be good enough and I will keep on going. But yeah, I had a lot of doubts. And still nowadays, when somebody just asks me, why don't you sing with clean vocals also like other bands, like Ginger or stuff like that? It's like, it's never enough. You have to be constantly doing more and more stuff just to prove that you're good enough. And it's like, no, I'm not a clean, I'm not a singer like that. I'm a growler. My performance is based on that. And it's not a problem with male singers in that field.
Yeah.
Nobody asks George Corpse from Cannibal Corpse, why don't you sing in the next album with clean vocals?
Right.
That would be stupid.
Yeah.
But with women happens a lot. It's like, it's never enough. You have to be demonstrating all the time that you're better and better and better.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I think the lesson too is, don't judge a book by its cover, because I think people still look at you and say, oh, she can't do that. She can't say, I know you haven't had a chance to warm up. Can you show my audience like how you sing? It's amazing to me. I love it.
Yeah. What do you want to hear?
Anything. I don't care. You choose.
Okay. So maybe one Nervosa song that I've been thinking about today. It's kind of easy, from our new album, Perpetual Chaos.
Okay.
Just the chorus. Perpetual chaos ruled inside. It's kind of cold right now, but
that's amazing though, that can come out of you. It's really impressive. I didn't know. I mean, so the first time I heard you was I had interviewed Mantis, and you did a collaboration. And I think it was Sean Reed that sent me the clip of the collaboration, and I saw you, and then I think I saw you about to sing, and then you start singing, and I was blown away. I was like, I didn't know. I mean, I'm an idiot, I guess, because I didn't know girls could sing like that. I was like, that's amazing. Like, there's not a lot that can do it, right?
To me, this cover with Mantis was a dream come true. Venom, to me, it was one of the very first bands from the extreme metal scene that I've heard. And Mantis, to me, it's one of my first heroes in this industry. So it was like a huge thing for me to do. So I decided not to go with a normal approach of rolling style, but trying something kind of melodic, like a little bit into the Motorhead vibe. And I just sent it to Sean, and he was like, yes, this is amazing. Do it this way. And that was the final result.
Yeah, no, it's great. So you say that when you write the music, you're translating your emotions into the song. So that's got to be really cathartic, or does that take a lot out of you to sing this stuff and write this music? I mean, are you exhausted afterwards?
It's very different depending on the approach, because for Bloodhunter, we are always trying to talk about like metaphorical stuff in relation to philosophy or occultism, but everything hides like the real emotions from your normal life. I mean, it's like we can be talking about good and bad or good and evil, but it's from a more deep feeling. It's like more talking about the choices that we have to make and things like this. But with Nervosa, I had to learn how to talk more straight to the point. If you want to go and talk about religions or politics or stuff like that, you just go and do it. Go straight to the point. No poetry in this. So that I had to change my mind a lot in relation to that. So in the beginning, to me, writing lyrics was very exhausting because I was like, I don't know what to talk about. It was like, okay, I'm listening to this song and I feel like anger or something like that, but anger in relation to what? What should I say in relation to the song? So it took me many years to try to develop some kind of style, just to learn and let all the feelings flow, you know.
No, it's amazing. Like, so with Bloodhunter, the End of Faith, I think that's your most popular song on Spotify for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
But that song, I mean, it comes at you like a fucking freight train. The blazing guitars and the drums just go so fast, and of course your amazing vocals. So, is that your favorite Bloodhunter song as well, or why do you think that one is so popular?
No,
it's not
at all. I think it's because it's a title track of the album.
Okay.
It's the same title, and people just go and search for The End of Faith, and that's the first song that appears. But I think one of my favorites could be Read Me Horror. That was from our very first album, and it was a kind of black metal song. It's very mixed with some power metal riffs, you know, because it's fast, but it has some melody. And maybe Let the Sun Come from the End of Faith album, that it's much more into a modern approach, and it has some groove in the main riff. So we start every single show with this song, and people, it's like, wow, this sounds heavy. This is good stuff.
Okay, yeah, that's great. And then I love also it's funny, I'm listening to your music and I'm like, I kind of recognize this song. I'm like, wait, this is the Helloween song, I Want Out. You guys did a cover of that. It's amazing. Now, was that the Helloween singer that sang with you on it too? Or who's doing the co-vocals?
Yeah, his name is Leo Jimenez. He's a very famous singer here in Spain.
Oh.
He's like like the first one in mix these high notes screaming so high with very deep growls sometimes. And there was a time like 10 years ago that every vocalist in the metal scene wanted to be like him. So he's like a real hero here in Spain. We are very big fans of him and of his career. And we just met him at one Behemoth show here in Spain. We were attending the show, both Bloodhunter and him. And he approached us just to introduce himself. It was like, come on, I know who you are.
That's nice.
We started talking. Yeah. And he said that he has been listening to our album, The End of Faith, and he was very impressed. So we was like, okay, we have to do something together. And he was like, yeah, but let's think about something different. And we thought about doing this cover of a classic song that has no growls in the original version. So here in Spain, it was kind of controversial. Not everybody likes to change the classics, but
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought because I like it when
nice.
Bands do covers if they do their own version and make it theirs and make it. I don't like the cover that sounds the same. I don't see the point in that. And you guys made it way heavier and an updated version, so I like it. Yeah, I think it's really cool.
Oh, thank you. Nice.
Yeah. So you said you had some really great shows with Bloodhunter. You've played some festivals and things, but you've also played in some of the worst conditions in the underground scene. So tell me a story about that. Like, what are some of the bad times playing with Bloodhunter?
Oh man, I had a lot of stories about that. I remember one of our shows playing like, I know this is not too much for North American people, but to us playing like 5 degrees under zero in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. and close to the sea with a very windy night.
Oh my God, that sounds like, horrible.
We couldn't move, you know.
Are you wearing the corset and your short sleeves and stuff, or you have like a ski parka on at this point?
No, we went to the stage just with our coats on and everything, but we started to play and it was like, okay, I feel the vibe now, so let's do this. And we played like for almost 2 hours with, I don't know, maybe 10 people, but they were jumping like crazy. It was kind of awesome. We thought like maybe nobody is going to come tonight, but yeah, there was some people there having fun, so it was like, okay, let's do it.
So you get so energized and you're worked up by the music that you don't even need your coats anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. That's actually kind of cool though. So then, so Nervosa, like you tell the story about how you were offered to audition during the lockdown, but you can't really audition in person. So you got to send videos. right?
Yeah, that was insane. I remember myself in the middle of the lockdown, just sitting lying in the sofa. It was not very late at night, but I was wearing my pajamas. It was May or April, May, 2020, and I just took my phone, and it was like, "You have a message from Pri Camarade," and I was like, "This has to be wrong." I started freaking out, like.
How did she send you the message? Was it email or Instagram, or how did she?
It was an Instagram message.
Okay.
I think she was asking me if I wanted to do an audition for Nervosa, and to me it was like very shocking thing because I didn't know that Fernanda and Luana have quit the band, and it was like, okay, I think they're just part ways, and now she's asking me if I want to try even to be the new singer of the band. So to me it was amazing. It was huge because I've been a fan of Nervosa. Nervosa has been like one of the main references for me in the extreme metal scene. There are not many all-female folk bands, and to me they were like real heroes, and that was a huge honor. So when I could just write something, I just say, yeah, let me know. What do you need me to send, or videos or something? And I remember she was asking me to send 2 videos performing the song Death and Kill the Silence. And I just tried 100 different versions of them. I was not sure because my vocal register is completely different to the previous one of Fernanda. And I was like, man, I'm not sure if they are going to like this. But yeah, I tried my best. And some weeks, I think it was 1 or 2 weeks before she called me, and we were discussing some things about how it was going to be my commitment with the project, about the language and stuff like that. Will you be available to travel a lot during the year? Do you have a normal job? And stuff like that. So once we just discussed everything, it was like, okay, you're in the band. And wow.
Wow.
That blew my mind.
And you're going to stay with Bloodhunter too. You're going to do both bands, right? Is that the plan?
Yeah. Bloodhunter, it was my very first band ever. And I learned anything that I know thanks to this band. My very first lyrics, the very first lyrics that I wrote, the very first shows that I played, the very first album that I've recorded, the very first experience in the studio, it was with Bloodhunter. So yeah, I think that my heart belongs to Bloodhunter too. And it's a good thing for me to keep on trying and keep on trying to work for the better with this band too.
Yeah. So that's got to bring up some challenges though, in terms of touring and recording, and you'll just kind of, they'll be flexible with you though. They'll be able to help each other. You'll be able to help each other out.
Yeah. We have different visions. As I told you before, we know that it's very difficult for us as a Spanish band to go and do a worldwide tour just next month, because we all have different projects besides me, and the other musicians have their own projects too, and they have their jobs too. So it's okay if we just play some shows every month, and that's all. We are much more focused on recording albums and writing new music, and that's the main thing for us.
So yeah, the new album, Perpetual Chaos with Nervosa, the song Guided by Evil, the thing has over 300,000 listens on Spotify, but really the whole album is just so intense, from the title track to the opening track, Venomous. I mean, it doesn't slow down. And I find myself just I'm just sitting here and I feel like I need to move. You know what I mean? It's kind of like dance music makes you want to dance. Like this album makes you want to move. Like I need to go work out or something. Like you can't just sit there and fold your hands and listen to this album. Like I dare you to try that. Like I dare anyone to try that. Like this is what it's designed for, right? I mean, that's why they have the mosh pits and stuff at these concerts.
It's a perfect album for quarantine because you can be doing your workouts and trying to stay healthy and headbang and keep your body active. That's a perfect album for that.
It reminds me, when I was in high school, I was really into Pantera. And I'm like, oh man, I need to get back into this kind of music because it's so energizing. It really just like, it's great like workout music and stuff. It makes you like, you know, move. Like I said, like I think that's really good stuff to listen to for that. Like it's definitely probably not good music to listen to if you want to relax. I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah. It's just, you know, we didn't have idea or how this album is going to be in the end, you know, because we were like 4 people working without knowing each other, living all together for 1 month in one studio. And we were working on the songs. We have some pre-production. We've been working from home the previous months. But when we entered the studio, things changed a lot because sometimes we were like, you know, like taking attention to other kind of stuff, different details that when you work alone, you just cannot find out. And we were just reading some lyrics and it was like, no, we can do it better. And then we changed everything at the same day. So it was an amazing experience. I learned a lot. They were all very open-minded. So the very first weeks, it was like changing a lot of stuff and trying new things and being flexible with that. So that was the best thing of this album, I think, because it makes you feel all that energy and all that positive vibe of being all together, working for doing something just amazing, you know, just to show to the fans of Nervosa that we are still alive and we want to keep on going with this project for the best.
That's great. Yeah. So you like in Bloodhunter, it's interesting because it's an all male band, obviously, except for you. And then with Nervosa, it's all female. So that's like, you have like, you're able to experience both worlds. What is the differences? Is there one that you like better? Do you like working with women or men or?
You know, I must confess that I always wanted to be in an all-female band, you know, because I don't like to wear makeup and stuff like that. So to me, I know that it looks better because it makes part of the whole performance. So to me, being alone, just trying to put my makeup on, it was like, I'm sad, you know, you don't have to do this. And with Nervosa, it's like everybody's trying just to do their thing and we are all together and we share stories while doing this. So it's like you feel home in some way because obviously I always had much more friends being men than women. But in this case, I feel a lot of things in common with these girls. And this to me, it's amazing because it's having like a soulmate, but in form.
That's so cool. Well, so how has your music, I mean, you have so many fans, obviously, and followers from both bands. How has your music helped or inspired people? I mean, you must get a lot of positive feedback from fans.
You know, as a fan of other bands, I'm always searching for this kind of stories that encourage me to keep on going in my normal life. You know, sometimes I just really need songs to relax, as we were talking about before, but other times you just need to release your anger and your anxiety and your fears, just to find this safe place where you can just open your heart and feeling safe, you know. And sometimes songs about encouragement and being honest to yourself and doing what you want and feeling free are the most inspirational for me. So I'm always trying to find this equilibrium between stuff like serious stuff, like things that are happening in the world and wars and economical stuff and politics, but in relation to the normal life, because at the end, we are only people, you know, and we need to feel like that connection with the others.
Yeah, well, and I heard you say this is an interesting, it was kind of, I'm probably butchering this quote, but that you become happier over the years as you've started to do what you want, like started to dress how you want, you started listening to music that you like, and, you know, you're still interested in other people's thoughts and opinions, but ultimately you need to make your own decisions. And that's something that you kind of started to learn to realize over the years, correct?
Yeah. You know, sometimes you just want to be the good girl, you know, like the person that everybody expects you to be, like the good wife, the good sister, the good daughter. And sometimes this is very difficult because if you don't feel to do something, that probably will be wrong, and you won't be happy with that. And if you are not happy with what you are doing, and if you are not honest to yourself, you cannot be good and make feel good the others, so that was a very important thing for me since I was very young, and I had a lot of fights with my parents because of that. But they finally understood that I was just searching for my own way to live my life, and now I feel very much more confident than when I was younger because of that, because I really know what I want, and I just go in my way.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, you're on. I mean, if you're not there already, you're definitely on the way. Are you still working as a psychiatric nurse on the side?
Yeah, maybe for this year I will keep the job because we started to play some live shows, but it's like 4 or 5 shows in a month. That's not too much to make a living, And to me, just quitting a job, it means that I will have something huge, and I still love my daily job as a psychiatric nurse. So yeah, I think it's going to be hard to me in that way to say, okay, see you.
But Nervosa, I mean, they tour worldwide, right? It's not like Bloodhunter, where Bloodhunter's just Spain. Nervosa tours all over, right? So that could turn into pretty much a full-time job, right?
Yeah, maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
That will be the point, because we've just announced a 2-month tour around Europe for 2022. So yeah.
Will you tour the States at all?
Yes, but after that.
Okay.
So it will be like maybe 4 months.
Okay. All right.
To start the next year. So yeah, it's going to be quite intense, and that's very good. But yeah, I'm thinking about. I think about this before, when we were discussing with Prika this kind of things about commitment and with the project and so on. She asked me, if we have to go on tour, will you do it? Are you available? Because you cannot say, okay, I'm in, and then not being available for the band. So yeah, I've been thinking about this, and I think this is the perfect time. I cannot wait to do this because maybe tomorrow I won't have this chance again of becoming a professional musician. So I think I have to just grab the chance and
definitely
have fun.
Yeah, and you're so good at it. So I'd love to see a show if you come to the States. If you're somewhere, I'm in Arizona, so I don't know if you go to Vegas or LA, it's not that far, but that'd be fun to see. I would just stay out of the mosh pit because I'd probably get murdered. I'm too old to be. No, I'll be in the back, but yeah, it'd be fun to see.
No, I'll find you.
Okay, all right, drag me into the mosh pit and get me killed. That'd be fun. Is that tell me, what is the show like? I've never seen you guys live, so what do I expect if I come to a show?
We've been playing for the first time 1 month ago, and with this situation of social distancing and stuff here in Spain, this is pretty strict, so we have a lot of rules about it, and there's not a lot of things happening right now. But we played in Poland, and there was no social distancing. Nobody was wearing the face mask, so to me it was like, this is a different universe. This is like traveling in time, and I have this feeling of, I never felt like doing this, it would be so amazing. You take for granted that playing a live show, it's good and it's very nice and stuff like that, but that was like the very first time that you play a show. It was like doing this all over again, but as it was the very first time, and it was kind of strange. The very first songs, it was like, is this real life? Is this happening? Yeah,
that's exciting for sure. Well, we're hitting that 45-minute mark, so let's go ahead and wrap up. I'd like to end each episode with a charity, and I think you mentioned the Medal Against Coronavirus. That's a project that raises funds for research against coronavirus, right? Yeah. It is like that. I thought this would be like a good stuff to share with people, because we are much better than in the beginning of this pandemic situation, but still people needs a lot of help, because there are a lot of people dying in countries that
doesn't have the chance of going to a hospital for free. So there's a lot of people dying in the streets. And I think this is a very nice way of trying to help them, just raising funds to send to all these patients that are suffering and to their families, just to help them to get some treatments. It's only that, that can cost a life. If you don't get your treatments and your support, that can mean that you will be dead. And that's very heavy stuff.
Yeah,
family,
for sure it is. Yeah. So yeah, I'll put that in the notes so people can throw a few bucks that way, and then definitely follow both your bands, Bloodhunter and Nervosa, and your own. You have a personal Instagram too, I believe, Diva Satanica. So all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Like I said, I'd love to see a show, and otherwise I'll just be listening to the music when I'm working out, and it'll keep me going. I think it's good stuff. So, all right. Thanks so much for doing this. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Diva Satanica, what an amazing woman. I love her music, and I love her. Make sure to follow her and her bands on social media. Again, Bloodhunter and Nervosa are the bands. And it sounds like Nervosa will be doing some shows, so that's exciting. And like I said earlier, I did want to talk about the Rock and Pod convention that I went to. It was a lot of fun. And I did have a couple takeaways from that I wanted to share. And I realized there's a ton of rock music podcasts out there, so I'm really trying to stand out. And I realized after going to this convention, I really need to up my game. So a couple things I'd like to do. One is increase the production quality of my show. I think the audio quality is pretty solid, but I'd like to up the visuals for the YouTube audience. And I've upgraded my camera once, but I may need to upgrade it even again. And I'd also like to do more short clips for the YouTube channel to advertise the full episodes. I've talked about doing these, more of these. I've done a couple, but I think it's time to try to, really make that a priority and try to pump out 1 or 2 a week. Also, I think to stand out, I really need to continue to branch out and do interviews with people in other fields other than music. And I really like having on authors and movie and TV people, comedians, and other types of folks. But lastly, I just want to ask for your input. If you're a regular listener of the show, what kind of guests do you want to see on here? What changes would you make to the show? What do you like about it? Any input that you have is always appreciated, as well as your comments, likes, and shares on YouTube and social media. That helps me out quite a bit. And also make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're inching up to 600 subscribers at the time of this recording, so getting a lot closer to that 1,000 mark. I'm very excited for that. So thank you again for listening. Have a great rest of your day, and remember to shoot for the moon.